So once we finished opening our Christmas presents, doing the family stuff, polishing off the turkey, we are then left with the next most important thing. Not New Year's Eve, the January transfer window. And I can assure you, away from the contracts, regarding the three contract rebels, every Liverpool fan in the world will be wondering if we're strengthening next month during the January transfer window. Although I know there'll be many people out there that will be thinking, nah, we won't be doing that because there's the new signings when they sign the contracts. You know what I mean? So we know that kind of guff could surface. Many people will think, no, we won't strengthen because this is FSG and they don't do things like that. But then there's people like me that thinks all those things that I've just said, but also it tries to be optimistic, tries to believe, tries to convince myself that we'll do something different. Excuse me. And you have to strengthen in January, right? Even if you're top of the table, because people can become complacent, the players, for example, you know, like, no matter how good you play, imagine to sign someone in that plays in your position, you're going to be thinking, fuck it, I need to not take my foot off the pedal a bit here. I need to, you know, up my game kind of thing. So I always think it's good for competition. I also think it sends out a message to your rivals and to the rest of the league and the football world. Like, yeah, we're top of the league. Do you know what I mean? But we don't just rest on that, you know. But unfortunately, this is something that Liverpool don't tend to do. Excuse me. So the reason I'm going through this is there was an article published on The Athletic earlier today, like a summary, a roundup of what they think each club will do in the Premier League in the January transfer window. So we're going to focus on the Liverpool side of things, right? And the question was, what positions will they, Liverpool, be looking at in January? And it says there is not one specific position Liverpool are definitely looking to strengthen in January because there are no guarantees they will enter the market unless the right player and deal becomes available. Immediately, when I read that, I was like, here we go. Here's the usual fucking propaganda. Unless the right player and deal becomes available. Which makes it sound like we do things differently to other clubs. Do you know what I mean? It suggests that other clubs are reckless. You know, other clubs, they go out and they sign players if they're the right player for them. Right? That's the intentions. You go out and sign a player if it's the right player for you. Nobody knows if it's going to work out at those clubs or our club. It just really angers me this straight away. So basically, Liverpool will only enter the market if the right player becomes available and the right deal is available. It's like, what makes it... They talk about our interest in Zubimendi in the summer. They talk about back in the summer, signing a number 6 was the priority. And they say that strengthening midfield at Anfield remains on the agenda. But the form of Ryan Gravenberch in the number 6 role has reduced the urgency. And this is what many of us thought that would happen, really. Because he's been playing out of his skin, because he has been a revelation. Lots of people have been like, there's no way they're going to fucking spend all that money now. Do you know what I mean? But if he takes one knock, and you've got to think about things like fatigue and all the games and the different competitions that were... That's my dog rocking the tripod. He's a cheeky fucker, isn't he? What? This is like a huge, huge lounge. And he's literally laid under the 3 legs of the tripod. Anyway, but you get my drift here, right? Many of us said, well, wow, Gravenberch's playing so well. I bet there will be no urgency on the number 6. There's no surprise here. But they do go on to say an extra body would help ease the burden. And then they say that because, Endo is not suited to Slot's style of play. They go on to talk about the left-back position, saying it's become a talking point in recent months due to the inconsistent form of Andy Robertson. He's got 18 months remaining on his contract, was sent off against Fulham, has made some uncharacteristic errors. Tsimikas' return to fitness allows Slot to rotate. But they think that it is unlikely that a third senior left-back would arrive during January unless there was an outgoing. They feel that the position will be assessed in the summer when Liverpool will also consider their options at centre-back. What needs to be done in the transfer market in 2025 will be heavily influenced by what happens with Van Dijk, Salah, Trent. All three have received contract offers from the club, but who stays and who goes remains unclear. Why could they be unlikely to do business? This will be interesting. It is often difficult to find good value in the January window, but recent history has shown that if the right player becomes available at the right price, Liverpool will pounce. They talk about Cody Gakpo, saying he was a summer of 2023 targets, but when it emerged that PSV were willing to sell for 44 million midway through the season, the club felt it was an opportunity they could not afford to miss. And of course, injuries to Luis Diaz and Jota, surprise, surprise, also contributed to that decision. It was a similar story in January 2022 when Porto needed to generate cash urgently, and Liverpool knew they either had to move fast to land Diaz for 50 million or miss out to Tottenham. Slaughter's repeatedly spoken about how happy he is with the depth of talent in the squad he inherited from Jurgen Klopp, and Liverpool are not in the habit of signing players for the sake of it. Yeah, because all other clubs just sign players for the sake of it. They will wait for their carefully selected targets to become available. Every player in the world's available. Will they be looking to sell anyone? It's unlikely. Will anyone move out on loan? Liverpool talks about the players that got out on loan. Discussions are taking place about who might be recalled in January due to a lack of game time. There's a decision to be made about Gordon, who has only started one championship game for Norwich in the first half of the season. The same goes for Ramsey, who has only made 3 starts in League One for Wigan. Bajcetic has had a difficult time at Red Bull Salzburg. Two of the big success stories have been Doak at Middlesbrough and Beck at Blackburn Rovers, and they are expected to stay put. Jadon Dans and James McConnell were both expected to leave on loan in the summer. Before injuries ruled out moves for them, they have both since returned to action for the under-21s, and regular senior football would be beneficial for their development if the right club can be found. Luke Chambers at Wigan and Callum Scanlon Millwall saw their loan stints halted by back injuries earlier in the season, and their rehab programmes are continuing at Liverpool. They mentioned a little bit about what Liverpool have done already in terms of Mamadashvili coming in from Valencia. And then they just say youngsters out on loan are developing and building senior level experience. They will be given a chance during pre-season to prove they should be part of Slot's future first team plans, which may also impact the club's transfer strategy. Again, that doesn't sound like, don't make it sound like you're going to get, I don't know. I mean, first of all, I don't really want to think about next season. I want to think about this season. Do you know what I'm saying? But there's a big emphasis on the youth there, and that they'll be given a chance during pre-season, as any youngster should be, right? But the bit that I don't like is the last few words, which says, you know, that it may also impact the club's transfer strategy. You see, when people make articles like this, write articles like this, compile articles like this, you have to, you know, we don't know who's behind all of these opinions. You know, is it Ornstein? Is it Pierce? Is it a number of random journalists that are not Liverpool specific? But if we come to the conclusion that it's probably the ones that we trust, you know what I mean, or might know what's going on a little bit, or they're being told bits here and there, you do have to think about what's being said to them, and that is clearly that Liverpool aren't going to just go into the transfer market in January. Excuse me, and I've just had my meatballs for lunch. And the emphasis on the youngsters, and that could impact the club's transfer strategy in the summer. But I don't, you see, what's different? Our club's no different to any other fucking club. You know, like January, we know it's a difficult window, right? But if the right player becomes available and we can make a deal happen, they always say this. It's like, It's the same at every fucking club. And it's the same that every club obviously wants to produce its own talent to save, millions and millions and millions. I've got to be honest, I don't read that article with a lot of enthusiasm. I don't take it as set in stone what's in the article, by the way. But I'm just thinking, there was nowhere really in there that it said, Liverpool are fighting on all competitions, top of this, top of that. They're a serious club who want to strengthen their squad. Even add the disclaimer if the right player comes along. The writing was very much what I would expect. Do you know what I mean by that? Would you agree with me with that? Or are you not on that level with me? I don't want it to be all sensationalised, but I'm reading it and I just think that is a typical briefing from within Anfield, that. I hope you understand what I mean. Even if we're not going to do anything, make it sound like, we really mean business, and absolutely, we'll Liverpool go out there and challenge for the best players, complemented with youth. But it wasn't worded like that to me. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just being a bit grumpy towards that. I don't think I am. I don't expect them to come out and say Liverpool are going to spend £200 million in January. It just doesn't sound very encouraging. Talking about Ryan, the dog's on the move, talking about Ryan Gravenberch, don't need a number 6 now, there's no urgency anymore. Oh, left back, that can wait. Centre back, that can wait. It can all wait, really. Let's just see how it goes. And that's the problem. That's the problem. Because if after January, Ryan or a left back or whatever, a centre back, takes a serious knock, we're then left in a situation when you think, fucking hell, if only we'd done something in January. Now, you can't, stockpile players for every position in case something goes wrong. But you can look at the positions that obviously do need some work, right? That do need improving, like those positions. And instead of going, let's chance it till the summer, I would much rather read that Liverpool know what they need to do, all right? And they're constantly looking at that. That's where I'd like the journalist to write, or the journalist. And maybe that is what's happening. But I think you know what I mean. The vibe I'm getting here is we're going to try and wing it to the summer. That's the vibe I'm getting. And I think that's the vibe that the majority of Liverpool fans would expect from this club under these owners. I just hope I'm wrong. What do you think, guys? Please let me know. I'm really not being negative because nobody knows what will happen, and we're not going to just read one article like that and go, oh, right, that's the situation then. And if a player becomes available at the right deal, then great. Let's hope they do something. But I can't but help think that it's a really good sign to your rivals, and also to the existing players that, we're Liverpool Football Club. We're going to do business, you know what I mean? Whenever we can fucking do it and keep you on your toes, kind of thing. And I know that there'll be people out there that'll be thinking, if Virgil and Mo sign new deals, it's just like having 2 new signings. We know it, don't we? And it's just a little bit negative, that article, I thought. Would you agree with me? I'm not taking it as set in stone, but it don't make for great reading, does it? It's a kind of a message that many people think they would get. I don't think anyone will be shocked by that article, put it that way. All right, guys, I'll leave it with you. Please thumbs up the video if you appreciate my efforts. Please drop me a comment on this one. What do you think we'll do in January? And if you want to buy me a coffee, you can hit the super thanks button, the love heart under the video, and I'll give you a shout out in tomorrow morning's briefing. All right, guys, take it easy.